importance of railroad crossing safety is something that every engineer, workman or woman, yardmaster, and even rail fans are familiar with. Safety while filming or operating trains is very important not just for the people in action, but also to the general public. Unfortunately, sometimes the public is not aware of common knowledge for train safety, and that sometimes costs lives. Like the death of Sarah Jones. While filming a movie, she was fatally struck by a CSX train on a bridge in 2014. Like Stobe the Hobo, a train-hopping YouTuber who was dragged to death by an Amtrak train in 2017. However, on the internet, there is one video that stands out about what not to do on or near railroad property. Incidents where people are hit by a train because of their own ignorance can and will happen, and it is sometimes caught on tape. That is exactly what happened to Mary T. Wojtyla, known on the internet as Train Girl. On August 26, 1991, the sun rose and it started out as a normal day in the Chicago metropolitan area along with the area of Downers Grove, Illinois. Metro commuter trains are running all morning and late in the afternoon to carry students, commuters, or tourists looking to go in and out of Chicago. In the railfan community, this August meant a little more because this was the last few months that Metro was running the EMD E9s on their roster. Many near the Metro commuter line came to see the last of these old 1940s to 1950s locomotives. As the day was winding down, Metro trains carried the first round of people returning home after a day at work. At around 5:30 p.m., former Burlington Northern E9 number 9912 was running on the racetrack line taking commuters back home from Chicago. The E9 was originally built for the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad in 1955. Its original number was number 9987B. It became part of Burlington Northern's fleet after the CB&Q had merged with the Northern Pacific, Great Northern, and Spokane, Portland, and Seattle Railroad. It was sold to the West Suburban Mass Transit in 1972, but was later leased back to Burlington Northern. In October 1973, it was rebuilt by Morrison Knudsen in Boise, Idaho, and was returned to the WSMT as an E9AM and pulled commuter trains for BN under contract with the RTA. 9912 left Chicago at around 5:30 for Naperville, Illinois. At Downers Grove, Illinois, a railfan was filming the E9s in action at the Fairview Avenue station as they took in passengers and flew by the station. At around 5:52 p.m., another Metro commuter train was waiting at the platform to pick up more passengers at the station to take them home from Chicago. At the same time, Mary T. Wojtyla was walking toward the railroad tracks with her lawyer. The mom of three was talking about the ongoing divorce from her husband. At 5:53, the crossing bells and lights go off as number 9912 was on the middle track with the racetrack commuter train. Several people had already crossed the tracks while the gates were down and the bells were ringing. Mary and her lawyer walked down Fairview Avenue past Burlington Avenue toward the station. At the same time, number 9912 was blaring its horn as it neared the railroad crossing. One woman who heard the horn looked toward the middle track but decided not to race the train to the crossing. Mary and her lawyer reached the crossing, and then it happened. Mary was struck by the train at over 60 miles an hour and was flown toward the railfan's camcorder. Her lawyer had stopped just before the train had struck her and was unharmed. Mary was instantly killed when the train struck her. She was 41 years old. She was on her way to see her ex-husband to sign the divorce papers. The accident delayed between 12,000 and 15,000 commuters on the Burlington Northern Line for more than an hour. Trains were further delayed when Downers Grove police ordered the engineer to back up the train to reenact the incident. According to an account in the Downers Grove Reporter, quote, the engineer was so seriously affected by the reenactment where he had to pass by the dead bodies still on the tracks, he was unable to continue and had to be relieved of his duties. That Thursday, the Chicago Tribune posted an obituary for her on August 29th. She was later buried at the Chapel Hill Gardens West at Oak Brook Terrace, Illinois. Shortly after her death, Wojtyla's estate filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Metra. However, the case was later dismissed in 1996, with the court saying that she walked past the railroad crossing when the bells were ringing and the gates were down. They subsequently stated that the railroad was not responsible for her death. After the accident, BN 9912 continued to operate with the RTA for another year before being pulled from service in July 1992. It sat in a yard in Chicago for many years, exposed to the elements. However, in the mid-2000s, the Nashville and Eastern Railroad purchased the engine. The N&E was proposing a commuter service between Nashville and Monterey, Tennessee. The original plan for the service was to use E9s. Unfortunately, after being inspected, number 9912 was not suitable to run the service, and the switch for the EMD F40PH for the service was made. Today, 9912 sits at the Tennessee Central Railway Museum in Nashville. There are plans to restore the engine, but as of 2021, no progress has been made to restore the locomotive. As for the video, it was published on YouTube in the late 2000s, and the internet has since dubbed the video Train Girl, as well as other sites across the internet. Operation Lifesaver in later years used the video to educate the public about railroad crossing safety and general train safety. The impact, though, is censored, as well as in banned on television. It has been 30 years since the video of Mary T. Wojtyla being struck by a train was shot. May we hope that people in the future don't meet the same fate Mary did on that August day in 1991.